Welcome into Sidelines. I am AJ Frederickson, and you're listening and watching on Charter Channel 180 UTVS to Sidelines down here in the basement of Stewart Hall. And I'm joined today by some fabulous people, a couple newcomers, but we'll start off with a classic guy. Nate Hagnes, how are you? You're donning your Predators jersey. That's a new look for you. That's a nice fresh fit.
Oh, I thank you. Yeah, I always got to rep Preds Nation. You know that.
He had to dust it off the shelf, man. Like, he hasn't been on the show in months.
It's true. It's true.
Well, maybe we'll get to some Preds talk with Nate later on.
Oh, you know we will.
And then we have Kirsten Kroll in the studio. First time
AJ.
down here. Glad to have you. You
Glad
excited?
to be here. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Glad you were able to free up your schedule a little bit. I know you're pretty busy. Then we have Will Heyer. Will Heyer.
What's up, man?
Will Heyer. Glad to have you.
I feel like it's the same kind of every host that's on here says it kind of the same way. And we got Will Heyer. He's here too.
You love
Again.
being on, and we love having you on.
Yes.
And then we have the student body president of St. Cloud State University, Jack O'Neill-Como, in the building. First time down here, first time radio guy. You said you did some shows at the Annex.
Yep.
But is this your first time like on a sports talk show?
Absolutely, yeah. I've never been on a sports talk radio before, so I mean, I wish I would have brought a jersey. I just couldn't decide really which one to wear, so I was like, I better just not wear any of them then.
Well, hey, we're glad to have you, and the shirt, I think, makes up for the lack of jersey.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, let's get right into it here. The Minnesota Timberwolves are tearing up the NBA right now. They're not the hottest team. But they're one of the hottest teams. They are phenomenal right now. They've climbed all the way up to 4th in the Western Conference, which is insane. They're sitting with a record of 27-16, and they're 6.5 games back of that first place in the West. But what has clicked with this team? Because beginning of the year, they had some trouble, and it was still looking like the classic Timberwolves team. Whereas, are they going to sit around 500? Are they going to be right below? They're now 9 games above 500. I know they were 10 for the first time. That was the first time since like 2004 or something like that, where the Timberwolves have been that high above just a 500 record. What can we say about this team?
I think there's two things. One thing that started from the beginning of the season is their ability to win close games. They've been able to hit some tough shots, and I think that the leadership from Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson is definitely playing a role in that. And then what we've seen in the last 3-4 weeks, their defense is getting so much better, limiting the Cavs to under 100 points. And then the game they had the other night against the Thunder, only letting them score 88, was a big time game.
At the start of the season, I think really what happened was we were always playing to the level of our opponent. So if it was a good opponent, we were playing at a high level. If it was a team that we probably should have easily beat, we were still playing to that level and honestly losing those games. But like Will said, like stepping up in leadership and really trying to say like we know we're the better team. We're going to actually go out there and win. I think that you can see that's why we're winning so many games lately.
Yeah, you want to think about the Wolves and how good they actually are right now against the West right now. They have a 22-6 record.
Yeah, they're
That's
great
pretty good.
against the West, and then once they go over to the East, they lose to teams like Philadelphia, and you can't do that.
That's surprising. I mean, when you look at the standings, I would really say that the West is definitely the stronger conference too. So it's crazy kind of hearing that.
No
stat.
one would say that. No one would ever say the West is stronger than the East.
They're on a 3-game winning streak right now, and they have blown out some pretty good teams. The Thunder, like was previously mentioned, 104-88. Before that, they took down LeBum and the rest of his squad, 127-99. He's something else. And then their last loss was to the Celtics, understandable, best team in the NBA. And then right before that, though, the Nets. But still, who's emerging as the leader? Because I think a lot of people are going to look at Cat. A lot of people are going to look at Jimmy G. Whose team is it? You got the time running down. They need one shot. Who's getting the ball in that dying seconds?
It's got to go to Jimmy Butler.
Because there's only one ball. There's only one ball.
It's so hard to say Jimmy Butler for me because he's not the most offensively skilled player on the team. That's just the truth. But he's definitely got the ice in his veins for it.
Absolutely. He's proven that he can actually take that last second shot to win us that game.
I don't know. A couple days ago,
Karl Anthony Towns has. So is Andrew Wiggins. Now their careers are young. They've only done it a few times each of them, but they've shown that they can do it too. It's just I just say go out and do whatever you guys want to do, guys.
If you were going to ask me at the beginning of the season, I probably would have said Andrew Wiggins. I just think he's one of those players where he has that capability in that shot, I'll say form. When I watch him play, it always looks like a good shot, and it always seems like it's going to go in. And lately it's kind of been, I'd say he's like a hot and cold weather player, though. He's either on or he's really off, and we need him to be a little bit more consistent. But if he can get consistent on that, I think he's got to be the person shooting that ball.
How much more time do you think the front office can allow Andrew Wiggins to reach a higher level? Because it seems like it's been the past couple of years. It's like, oh, just give him one more year.
He's been
give
playing.
him one more year. And he's been bringing it up, but I think everybody's expecting a lot more growth than what we've seen.
Well, his scoring has been below average this season, but his defense, like I said, with the rest of the team in the last 3 or 4 weeks, has gotten so much better, and that's why you're paying the guys. He was supposed to be a really good perimeter defender coming out of Kansas, but we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
The Celtics, though, like I said, best team in
So
the NBA.
good.
Are they going to keep it up?
Good.
Kyrie just loves. Did you see him? He actually liked an Instagram post of the NBA's that was LeBron like freaking out on the sidelines and it just said liked by
Just
Kyrie
trolling.
Irving. He loves that they're imploding right now.
Did you see he compared himself to Neymar, a soccer player? I don't
No, he did
really
not.
get. I don't really get how you compare yourself to a soccer player. Completely different sports.
Yeah, but I mean, people say like Sidney Crosby's the Michael Jordan of the NHL or something.
Well, that's different. Because they're like the best. I mean, I would say Wayne Gretzky is like the Michael Jordan of the NHL, but
I meant like current day, like. But okay, whatever. We're gonna move past
Okay,
it.
sure.
Back to the
Sure,
Boston
dude.
Celtics. Can they keep it up? They're 34-10 on the season. Do they continue rolling? Is somebody gonna come out and threaten them? I know the Raptors are kind of close. I don't know who else.
They're-
in the
I mean,
East.
they might get Gordon.
Will Cleveland turn around? They're gonna get Gordon Hayward back.
yeah, they might get Gordon
Believe it or
Hayward back
not.
at a really good time.
And they're already really good without him too.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
scary.
scary part.
It's scary.
I think for them, the playoff time will be interesting because they have such a young team. Marcus Smart, I mean, he's gotten a few years of experience. Jaylen Brown, and then Tatum. They're all young guys. They don't have a lot of playoff experience. Hopefully, Kyrie Irving will
Who's
be
the
able
coach
to
out in
be
Boston
that
again?
rock.
Brad Stevens.
Yeah, Brad
Stevens.
Stevens.
Okay.
He's such an awesome coach.
Yeah,
is.
he's good. He's done a lot. He's done really well with that team. I think a lot of people thought that the Cavs got the better end of the deal, just because they were, getting some draft picks with it. But
They need to go get DeAndre Jordan. They need to trade Tristan Thompson because he's going to cost them nearly $40 million the next 2 years.
you see the Wolves making any moves by the deadline or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't think
Maybe
you
like a
screw with
bench
the
guy or something?
mojo of the team. I will.
Not even got to come off the bench.
The bench should be coming back. I just think Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to use the
He's
bench.
murdering his players.
Well,
he runs them ragged up and down the court.
Shabazz Muhammad's gotten 2 minutes in the last 4 weeks. Belly just came back from injury, and Cole Aldrich never touches the floor.
All right.
I think that when it comes to Shabazz Muhammad, though, I think it has a lot to do with kind of what his off-the-court actions and what he's saying, too, is, I mean, he's saying that he should be getting more playing time. He should be the guy on the court. Maybe should
Well,
be a
he's-
starter.
he's-
That's not good team
Well,
chemistry,
he's
in my opinion.
he's never done that in his career because he's always been getting good bench minutes, and now he's not. And I would be kind of saying it too because he's been one of those players that, especially on transition, on both sides of the ball, he's really been a difference maker.
Okay. We're going to kind of move it along, but real quick before we do, I want to hear, we're almost at the halfway point of the season. All-Star game's coming up. What's your finals predictions? Are Boston a lock in the East, and then who's coming out of the West? Because the Warriors aren't looking as hot as they usually were. You got, let me take a look here. You have the Warriors on top. The Rockets are there. The Spurs still fundamentally sound behind Pop. And then like we said, like we've been talking about, Timberwolves in that 4 spot. What do we got for finals predictions? Even if you're, I'm not the biggest basketball guy, but I feel like I can get a pretty educated guess out there. So I'm going to start with on the other side because we haven't heard from these two as much. We're going to start with Nate.
I'm gonna go with a wild one here. I'm gonna go Fear the Beard. I'm gonna go
Ooh,
with James Harden.
Rockets.
I think this is the year that finally Houston will overtake Golden State. And out in the East, I gotta go Boston.
All right.
I think Toronto is just gonna be a dud like they usually are in the playoffs.
All right. Kirsten, you want to throw your 2 cents in there?
I feel like the Warriors are going to pull off the win in the finals this year, but also I don't think we're going to see a Warriors-Cavs matchup like we have in the past few years here. I think everything that's been going on within the Cavs organization lately, I feel like we're finally really starting to see their weaknesses come out, and especially with LeBron lately, because he's just looked like he's been reaching a breaking point these past couple of weeks. So I think it's going to be the Celtics coming out.
Will?
This is in no way, shape, or form me saying I think the Wolves are going to be in the finals, but
it is what you're saying.
no. There's only
Jack
one.
knows.
There's only one other matchup I would like to see, and that would be what Nate said: Rockets and Boston. 2 different teams. I can't stand Cleveland. I can't stand Golden State, but I think it'll be Golden State and Boston because Golden State, they always turn it on. and they look like they're trying, but they're not.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a repeater here, but I do think the Rockets, as stated, the Golden State does look good, but they don't look as good as they have in the past. And I think what's kind of nice about the NBA now, there's other super teams out there. There's teams that can really compete with them and actually give them a run for their money. But I'm going to go on a limb here, especially if the Cavs can get DeAndre Jordan. I'm going to say the Cavs. The only reason why is I'm a big LeBron fan. I know he's one of those players where
Tell him to lay off the vino.
Yeah,
lay off the wine a little bit, LeBron.
You know, and that's what it is. It's a competitive
wine?
sport. All right,
Yeah,
that's what it is. And he wants to win.
He's
a
trying to
competitor.
become a like a wine connoisseur, like a wine. Like I know everything about it. Like I know the grapes came from this place and it was fermented a certain way. Sheesh, LeBron, tone it down.
That's the one thing. I mean, LeBron, like any player that goes to him, they're always going to be in the LeBron shadow. I feel for IT a little bit, but if they can get they can get DeAndre Jordan, I'm going to see this Cavs team really give the Celtics a run for their money in that East. So I'm going Cavs and Rockets for the finals.
Okay, all right. We're gonna switch it over because this coming up, it could be this could be one of the bigger weekends in the entire Minnesota sports season.
Yes.
The Vikings have a chance to advance to the NFC Championship game, their first time back since 2009. Rest in peace to that season. It's a lot of memories being brought up.
But no, don't
people-
bring up revenge, though. This isn't a revenge game.
No, people forget about the 12th man in the huddle, the interception by Favre.
The fumble
on the 1
yeah.
yard line.
Oh my God! And as much as I just want to blame
How many
Bountygate
fumbles
for
did
it,
he have in that game? Like 3?
He had 3
oh my
fumbles.
God,
Yep.
It was
2 on the 1 yard line.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I was pretty young when that game happened. I remember watching it, but it's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
you got a couple years on me.
Yeah, I got that age, so it's kind of nice.
Good thing we have
Experience.
Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon.
I think I meant to be sarcastic.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say because
No,
that's you.
Will,
The
Will's
Saint-
a big
that's
Jet
great.
fan.
The
He's a big Jet fan.
Saints are going to get eaten alive by Jerick McKinnon. Last week, Christian McCaffrey had over 100 yards from the scrimmage, and they're the same kind of back. I mean, Christian McCaffrey obviously a little more skilled, but I think we're going to run all over that defense.
2 matchups to look for. Our defensive line versus Drew Brees. Can we get to him? Can we force him to make those quicker passes? Make them run. I get the Saints have a good run game, but if we can make them run, I truly feel make them one-dimensional. That's how we're going to win that game. Marcus Lattimore versus our Vikings receivers. That's the second matchup for it.
Personally, I'm not worried at all because who does Drew Brees throw to? Michael Thomas. Who do we have? Xavier Rhodes.
Yep.
I'm
He is
worried
gonna smother him like a jacket.
I'm
But
worried
then-
about the Ted Ginn Jr.
Ted Ginn
and
Jr.
Trey
No,
Wayne's
No.
matchup.
Harrison Smith is gonna not play. He's not gonna play underneath all game. He's gonna stay over top, not let Ted Ginn get behind him because Ted Ginn, I don't know what's gotten into him. He's been catching balls.
Oh, yeah.
Like normally hey, like you want me to toss you your phone? I'm gonna walk it over to him because he's gonna drop that 10 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal. I don't know what he's done this season. Maybe it's just that he finally has started clicking with Ted Ginn. But I remember like earlier in the season, preseason, it was like in practice, Drew Brees airs one out to an open Ted Ginn, dropped.
Yep.
Somehow he's turned it around. But Kamara in the run game with Mark Ingram, I'm confident Emerson Griffin, Linval Joseph, our defensive line is
Eric
solid.
Hendricks and Anthony Barr, I think that's the big,
love it. I love
the big
Anthony Barr.
neutralizers
Love
for
me
their
Anthony
running
Barr.
backs in the passing game, especially our linebackers, and they're better. Our linebackers are better than our running backs.
So Kirsten, about this time last year, you were looking at the Cowboys, still in the playoffs. I know you're a big Cowboys fan.
Oh
It's
boy,
so
I know,
painful
I
to
know.
go back to that time, AJ. And then it's even more painful, too, to even like look at this matchup against the Vikings and Saints coming up here, because I think back to the game that happened back in 2009, right before, the Saints and Vikings matchup, because the Vikings had to play Dallas,
Yep.
I
and
remember
Dallas
that
just got
game.
annihilated 33-3. Every time Dallas has a chance to
Say that's
make
every year.
something of themselves in the
That's every
playoffs,
year.
it's just not good. It doesn't happen for
So
them.
after a season long of Michael Scott back and forth, snip snap, snip snap.
Yep.
You're out of the playoffs now.
Yep.
What's it like to look? An unbiased opinion on the coming weekend. Do you see the Vikings or the Saints pulling out here to go one step closer to the Super Bowl?
It's going to be a really good matchup. Honestly, I don't know, I'd hate to bring up history because that was, what was it?
That's
9
what
years
Nate's
ago
gonna do being a
now?
Packer fan here anyways, so don't
I don't know,
worry
it's so
about it.
long ago. They're two completely different teams. Now you can't look at that matchup back in 2009. I do think the experience of Drew Brees, him being an elite quarterback, I just feel he's really going to put a number on the Vikings. But I think if the Vikings win this game, they're going to go straight to the Super Bowl because they're either going to end up playing Atlanta or the Eagles following this game.
They're going to play Atlanta. I don't see the Eagles winning that game.
You don't?
Nick Foles doesn't have it in him.
I
no.
think we have an elite quarterback, though.
I mean,
am I the only one that thinks that
elite. Here? I mean, he had a good season.
I don't think he's earned the title of elite.
I
yet.
think,
I think
well,
a couple more years, if he keeps this up.
Well,
then
what
we'd
if
be
he
able
wins
to
a
see,
Super
but
Bowl ring?
What if?
No. Then that's going to become a Joe Flacco thing where he's going to have to be
Case
paid
Keenum
super
elite.
high, and
His
then we're going to
Case
call him
Keenum
elite, and then he just really doesn't do
Okay,
anything.
so we don't want him to win a Super Bowl.
No, we
this
want him
year.
to win the Super Bowl, but
Nobody said
I
that.
don't-
Nobody said that.
I think that would briefly put him in the discussion to be talked about as a potential elite quarterback, but that does not make him an elite quarterback just because he earned a ring right away.
eliteness takes consistency, and it takes years to do that. Like build a repertoire of actually being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Like if you take a look at it like this, Case Keenum, Tom Brady, like you know what I mean?
That's
There's no
Small
comparison.
step. That's a small step.
I mean,
between each
even
other.
Case Keenum and Drew Brees. I mean,
Yeah,
I still think the Vikings are going to win this game, but Drew Brees.
Brees is a better quarterback.
He's a great quarterback.
Way better quarterback.
He's probably a top 6 quarterback ever in the NFL.
Yeah. You said it takes consistency to be an elite. Nate, do you think the Vikings have been consistent enough this season to beat the Saints, or are the Saints going to take them down?
Well, I think the Vikings will win. I mean, I don't like the Vikings at all. I don't. I really don't. But the writing's on the wall. They're going to beat the Saints. They're going to lose to the Jags in the Super Bowl. But
Wow.
The
Jaguars.
Jags.
That's bold.
If the Jags
Bortles,
beat
we're
the
on-
Patriots,
Oh,
that'd be
Bortles does not
awesome.
have it in him to get to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Oh.
that's our segue. Thank you, Nate. Jags and Pats, right? Is that
Yeah.
Or is
That's
it
like that.
Tennessee.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
No.
Tennessee and
so
Patriots.
It's Jags and who then?
Jags and Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers. I forgot the Steelers.
I think that's a good matchup for them.
That is a good matchup. This is how the Jaguars are going to win that game. It has to be under 25 total points scored. If it gets any more than that, if it turns into a shootout, Jaguars have no shot.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's just that truth. They need to rely on a low-scoring game, just like last time. I think what did they win, like 9-0, or
I don't remember.
I think that's what it was, like 9-0. So I
Yeah.
mean, like that's the type of game though that they need in order to advance. Otherwise, if they try to go into a high-scoring game with the Steelers, it's not going to happen. Antonio Brown's back too, so
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
gonna be tough for them
Good
to
luck.
I mean,
Jalen Ramsey's good, but I mean,
Well, if
Antonio Brown's also really good.
Jacksonville's got a good defense, so I think
They
they're going to
do.
be able to lock down Juju Schuster-Smith, Antonio Brown. It all depends. Ben Roethlisberger.
he threw 5 picks last time they played the Jags.
Yeah, and he brought.
That's true.
I don't know.
I
That's
want to see
interesting.
Blake Bortles have a 3-touchdown game. That's asking. That's asking.
That's asking of a miracle.
That's asking like the Vikings to win back-to-back Super Bowls right there. But I really hope it happens.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Blake Bortles have more rushing yards than he did passing yards last game?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he
That
did.
you know, I do. That means you're getting the job done with your feet. You're finding, you know, you
Or
can't
you're
do
not
it throwing
getting
the
it done
ball.
with your arm.
But that's exactly it. You're a quarterback, and especially when you're of his, well, say coming into the draft, his repertoire was to stand in the pocket, gun the ball down the field. If you're having more rushing yards than passing yards, that's a recipe for a loss. And that's what's going to
You're
happen.
telling me people don't develop a running game when they're midway through their 20s?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how that works?
Yeah, especially
I'll-
not when you're 6'7" or whatever he is. So
I want to bring one more point into history with the Steelers.
All right, bring it on. Bring it on.
Against a quarterback that has been thought of as nothing. Remember Tim Tebow and Demaryius Thomas. Overtime. It took one play for the Broncos to kick the Steelers out of the playoffs. That's it.
Okay, all right.
Well, and we saw what happened with Tim Tebow. He's now an analyst for.
I'm just
And
saying
this
one
also-
game.
For- he
One
plays for
game.
everybody.
Yeah, he plays a
Everybody.
baseball
One game.
player, so I mean,
Hey, he
yep.
is a phenomenal host on the SEC network, though.
He's
Okay,
not
well,
bad.
that's good.
He's good
He's
TV.
good.
He's
He-
good TV.
He's really good.
I mean,
He
yeah,
bashes
great
the
guy.
Big Ten a little too much, though, for my liking.
He bashes the Big Ten a little bit too much.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I agree.
I just think the NCAA in general bashed the Big Ten. They had not a lot of respect for it, unfortunately. But
Tennessee taking on the Pats. I don't think this one is up for much debate. The Patriots are going to run the floor with them. The Titans are the kings of a teen-to-teen game, 17-14, 16-13. If they can keep their opponent under 14 points, they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
I don't think this is going to be a good game for Tennessee. So the Patriots have home field advantage in this one, and the Patriots are 6-2 this season when they play at home, and the Titans are 3-5 when they're on the road. And when you go against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and their style of play, it's just not going to be a good recipe.
So
for
you
the
don't think
Titans.
the most recent ESPN article about the power struggle between Brady, Belichick, and Kraft is going to influence them at all? And
No, I think it's definitely going to influence
Okay.
them. I read that article too, and it just seemed like it's been something that's been building up for a while, but I don't think they're going to let their tensions in the locker room show up on the field. They know what they need to do once they come up to a game. They're not going to risk putting a title on the line with their differences.
Okay.
How many years have we seen the Patriots be in the spotlight for some type of, adversity, whether it be a scandal, whether it be they're not getting along in the locker room? I just really don't see this being a problem. Again, I mean, they're not used to being, I'll say, in the bad light of things, especially with the news media. So I think Belichick and Tom Brady, and with, Robert, I'm going to throw Robert Kraft in there too. They're all one big giant team, still in my opinion. So I think they're going to get this done.
All right. Did anybody think the Titans have a chance in this game or no?
Absolutely
They don't have
not.
anyone
Alright.
to cover
Well, they got
Gronk.
Mariota. You got to forget. You got to
They're
There you
gonna
go,
they're gonna be Mary out of the playoffs.
right.
Malarkey's really good at changing up his schemes in the second half, but Patriots going to be up by way too much going into the second half for that really to make a difference. So.
And then the last matchup of the weekend, the winner of this will take on the winner of the Vikings-Saints game. You have Atlanta traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. The Eagles, Carson Wentz-less, I don't know. Like I said, I think I've made up my mind. It sounds like Jack is on the same side as me. Well, do the Eagles have a chance?
I definitely think the Eagles have a chance.
I do. I agree.
All right.
I think people have been counting them out ever since Carson Wentz went down, but keep in mind the Eagles are 2-1 without Carson Wentz still, and Nick Foles, he has an experience as a starting quarterback in the league, and he wasn't
Both good and bad, though.
good
Both-
and bad,
Both good and bad.
but he wasn't terrible. It could have been much worse.
Okay.
But I don't know. They have a great team surrounding them too, besides Justin, the quarterback. I know the quarterback is a vital position, especially to lead you down the stretch, but I think that they're going to end up taking down the Falcons, and it's going to be the Vikings and
Wow.
Eagles in the matchup in the NFC Championship.
See, once Carson Wentz got hurt, I just assumed it was a home field advantage all the way through to the Super Bowl for the
I
Vikings.
did it as well.
Yep.
Because I don't see them winning. Like Week 17, the last game they played, I know they didn't play Nick Foles that much, but the fact that they didn't put a single point on the board. Jake Elliott has a great leg. You didn't even get in range for him to knock one through. Are you kidding me?
I think
Not the way you want to go in the playoffs.
I just
No,
I just
that's
think
that's not good momentum, and that's going to haunt you going into this matchup. Everybody's going to be talking about, it, especially in the Philadelphia sports atmosphere.
Yep.
Oh my
absolutely.
God, not a chance.
I still think Nick Foles he's the guy that can maybe go out and win you a playoff game. I don't think he can win you 2 in a row, but he could go out and win one. He could do something. And Atlanta's not a special team by any means. They've got an all right defensive line. They got Trufant back.
I don't know. The best take I heard on the Falcons all season is that they haven't played their best game yet, and I think that's true
That's
because
true.
they're talented.
Well, and Julio Jones hasn't really showed up that much this season.
I
What do
mean,
you have?
he's
5 touchdowns on the regular
Yeah, he's
season?
had one game where he scored over half his touchdowns against Tampa Bay.
That was
So,
great for my fantasy team.
Absolutely.
Quick shout out to Julio. I still think Matty Ice, along with Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu,
Hooper.
Hooper, Austin Hooper. Remember that play week 1 where he received for 87 yards?
I thought he was going to be
breaking
a
dudes'
stud
ankles
for
left and
them.
right. Yeah. Everybody immediately picked him up on the fantasy wire. Didn't do anything the rest of the season.
Now, I know I've been dissing
It's
on...
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
problem.
It's just going to be so tough if the Eagles lose this one because the whole off season, everyone's going to be wondering what if. What if Carson Wentz was starting? What if he could have led us to play the winner of, this week against the Vikings Saints? What if we could have taken it further and then see NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl? What if is just going to be a huge question the entire offseason if they don't make it.
I agree with that. I think every team kind of deals with that, though. I mean, the Vikings, let's say they don't. What if Sam Bradford doesn't get
I
hurt?
feel
What if
like
Dalvin
I've been
Cook doesn't get
answering
hurt?
what if questions for my entire life as a Vikings fan.
Just a Minnesota sports fan,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
What if Zach Parise doesn't get hurt heading into the playoffs?
What if
every single
Kevin
season?
Garnett didn't get traded? That's my
Ooh,
big one.
that's a
That's
big
always
one.
my
That
big
is a
one.
very
That's
good
a big
one.
All right, so matchups are going to be, I think, as a group, we decided Vikings taking on. We're
think
undecided on that one. We're undecided. I think.
Yeah, what did Nate say?
Yeah, Nate's going to be the deciding factor here.
I'm going with the Eagles in this
Oh,
one.
Oh, 2v2.
Philly playing
right.
at home with that defense they got. I don't know.
And you brought up a really good point. It could come down to defense. It could come down to kickers and defense. You brought up Jake Elliott. Matt Bryant's also a really good kicker.
He is.
If Eagles defense can actually step it up, and if they get a defensive touchdown or special teams touchdown, then I'm actually going to give them a little bit of a a little bit of an advantage. But I mean, they'd score a lot. But I just don't see. I see Matty Ice actually stepping it up. I see Julio Jones wanting to play, and I'm actually a huge Tevin Coleman fan. I think he'd be a starter on most teams in the NFL. So
Just like I think Jerick McKinnon would be with most teams in the NFL if he wasn't on the Vikings.
Let me throw in a cliche really quick, though.
Okay.
Defense wins games.
they do. Defense wins.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, definitely defense does win
Saw it
championships.
with the Broncos the other year.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly right. But you also need a quarterback. I mean, I get it. Nick Foles, he's a guy who's actually thrown 7 touchdowns in one game, but I don't even see him throwing one this next game. So if Philly's defense and special teams can keep him in the game, they have a shot. But I just
You
see
don't
Matty
see him
Ice
throwing
stepping it
one.
up.
Not a single touchdown pass.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no. I could see him. I could see Ajayi running one in, but I don't see Nick Foles throwing one.
That's bold.
I think because
Hold me
of
to
that,
it.
Foles is going to throw one to Ajayi and he's going to go in.
We'll see.
I think he's gonna. I think he's
We
gonna
shall
hit,
see.
I think he's gonna hit Alshon on a streak or something like that.
Okay.
Because Alshon's not bad this season.
Yeah. He hasn't been like
He
the
hasn't been
big
the big- well, that-
big time separation go up and get him receiver that
Yeah,
he
but
was expected to be.
that was pre-steroid era for Alshon Jeffrey. This is post. And we're just looking at raw natural ability now, and it's less than impressive, but still it's doing the job.
Less than
I'd say Nelson
impressive.
Aguilar has a better chance of scoring than Alshon Jeffrey this
I
next
like
game.
Nelson Aguilar a lot.
It's going to be
this
a
year.
bust play if he does score. It's going to be
Just
a bust
broken
coverage
coverage.
play.
Yep.
Yep, and it's just going to be a deep ball. He went far, but we'll see if Nick Foles can find him and give him the ball too.
All right, so now we're gonna switch over real quick to some hockey talk for the remainder of the show. 'Cause
Hockey.
we have about like 7 minutes left, but we got to kick it off with my favorite song. It hasn't been here for a while.
Dude, yes.
It hasn't been here for a
Yes.
while, but it's time for Fred's Talk with Nate.
Get ready, Preds Nation. Let's talk hockey.
That's my alarm clock every morning getting up.
Right? So
I
there.
wish that was my
I
alarm
need- I
clock
need- I-
waking up every
that is
morning.
awesome.
I
Right.
need to get it up, because that I need that as my alarm. But Nate, you have the floor, and now you actually have a partner in crime today, because I know Kirsten's a huge Nashville Predators
well, that's
fan.
Nothing but the
excellent then.
utmost faith in that team.
So you guys
Wonderful.
take the floor,
Same
talk
here.
about how you think the season's going, and then we'll kind of divulge ourselves in the rest of the NHL, bring us into the end part of the show.
Well, the Preds are just playing good hockey right now. We're only second in our division right now, but we were first for a long time. It hurt a lot a couple weeks ago when Flip Forsberg got hurt. He was our goal leader, our points leader. That's going to be tough, but we got a man named Ryan Ellis who just came back with a nice beard, good handle on his stick. It's this game changer. So Preds got a good team this year. They got a good squad. Just all their lines are so good. Fun team to watch. I'm already writing them in as Stanley Cup champions.
Let's
so.
not forget to mention their brick wall and net, Pekka Rinne.
Oh yeah, you can't forget about him.
Old reliable. That's
Old
what he
reliable.
is.
Yeah, he's
That's sure.
He's been lighting up for them, and you guys, like you said, Nate, you guys are second in the Central Division right now. 56 points in 42 games, 25, 11 and 6 record. You guys are hot right now. You guys are hot. Who do you think is the big impact player now that Forsberg's gone? You said Ryan Ellis is coming back. Who are you looking to step up and kind of fill in that scoring gap?
I'm going to say, sorry to cut you off, I'm going to say Ryan Johansson.
Oh yeah.
Great guy, very skillful. We didn't, unfortunately, when he got out in the Stanley Cup Finals last year, that was a huge loss. I know that's not really what we're talking about right now, but just seeing him all last season and how he really stepped up until that point, he is just such a key player to the Predators.
He's such a key player, and I got to go with Victor Arvidsson too. That dude is just solid all around, and it's going to be interesting to see who steps up for this team. It's so deep, it could be anybody.
I love the stories around this team. Kevin Fiala last year breaking his leg in the playoffs. He's back. He's been having a great season. You have the Central All-Star Game captain and PK Subban on the team. He's been loving Tennessee. I feel like
He has. Let me just ask you guys a question too, because I want your input on this. But so PK Subban, a lot of people have said he's an overrated defenseman. What's your take on it?
I think he's pretty solid. I mean, you don't get a deal with Adidas for being okay. I think he's pretty good. What do you think, AJ?
I think he's pretty solid. I mean, he's definitely not the most disciplined of players, but he's good on the blue line. He loves to step up in the play, and I love that out of a defenseman because you got to have that like nice little balance of being conservative, but also you got to let the leash off a couple times. He's got a cannon of a shot, and he's just got that natural playmaking ability. But I think what separates him from a lot of guys on the blue line is his locker room impact.
I could not agree more.
His
That was
locker
something
room-
else I was
yeah.
going to bring up too. Just his leadership and everything that he does off the ice. He leads by example. That's the kind of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really what sets him apart from everybody else. And that's not something that you can train. That's not coachable. So that's just, it's a very rare trait in a player that, you know,
Yeah.
when a coach sees that, you kind of hit the jackpot.
Yeah, and then last year during the Stanley Cup Finals, I mean, after his time in Montreal, now down with the Predators, they still love him up there. I think he gives so much to the communities, and then it was like the Canadians were in the playoffs for the Stanley. Every time they would play, everything shut down. Everybody's at the bar in front of the TV, whatever, watching the game, cheering just for PK. That's how much they love him up there. And I think when you leave that kind of last impression on the city, that, I mean, if you look at a guy like Patrick Marleau down in San Jose, they're not doing that with him. I mean, don't get me wrong. They still are going to love him down there. But he was there for a handful of years, and then he got traded. They still love him like he's a hometown guy. It's insane. So I think when you leave that kind of impression on a former playing city, that definitely says something. So he's definitely a good face of the NHL. One guy you got to look for being an ambassador of the game, especially in that kind of like southern region where hockey might not be the most popular sport.
Let me just say something about that, though. I was in Nashville 2 months ago, and I actually was able to go to the Predators versus Penguins game. Let me just tell you, that crowd is amazing.
Yeah, they're loud.
It's
They're
almost like
so
a
loud.
college game, honestly.
Honestly, and the atmosphere down there, you wouldn't think that, you know, a southern city would have that kind of energy for a hockey team, but just the way that city rallies around the Predators is amazing.
Yeah, Bridgestone
Not much
Arena.
to rally around. Down there.
Other than that, I mean, what else do they have? I mean, they could be looking at the.
I
the
had to get
Titans
my
right
one
now.
bit in there.
No, I mean that's
My
fine.
one hockey bit.
You're gonna bash hockey every
Yeah.
single time. That's fine. I know.
Yeah.
I
It's
know
just
it's
a shame.
coming. It is a shame.
It's a shame.
It's a shame.
Well, okay, let's be honest. What else do they have down there? Country music. Okay, yeah, that's all right.
I mean, a lot of down. I think down there
Good food.
Yeah,
I
good
heard they have
food.
great
Good,
barbecue.
good food and
great barbecue.
I think on my number one list that I would like to do there is karaoke bars. So I mean, but besides that, I can't really think of anything else. Predators.
Okay. Do you want? Hold on. We're gonna kind of go off script here. Do you want a little secret for karaoke bar? Like.
Of course
like
I do.
A banger every single time. The Cup of Life by Ricky Martin. You can fake it till the chorus, and then it just goes in. It is so good. Honestly, right after the show, look it up.
Will's gonna do that now.
I will.
Oh my god.
I will.
Oh my god. Like one listen
DB
through.
is Sunday night.
All right, you know where to find Will on what day? What day?
Sunday.
Wow, responsible.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Straight A student.
I know you are. And you definitely are proud of that one. I'm proud of you for that, for your parents and whatnot. Halfway point of the NHL season. What were you thinking for Stanley Cup final predictions? I know you already you're already writing in the Predators, Nate, as your Stanley Cup champions this year.
Yeah, I sure am. You know,
What team's gonna try to contest them though in the finals coming out of the East?
I'm gonna go with Boston on this one.
Ooh, the Bruins.
I'm gonna look for a good classic, just hard-nosed NHL battle for the Lord Stanley's Cup.
All right, Kirsten.
I'm going with the Capitals and the Predators.
All right.
When you take a look at the West, the Predators, I know the Knights there first, but the Predators have only lost one more game than them.
The thing is, they gotta give it up some. They cannot keep that up. They don't have the talent. The Golden Knights, and actually after the predictions, that's one thing I just wanted to swing to because I was hoping somebody was gonna say that. And we'll get there in a second. So I'm gonna hold my thoughts. But Will, you're the biggest hockey guy. Give me two teams. Because we made
Okay,
Nate
so
and
I
Kirsten do
can
it for
give you some
basketball.
two teams, but my biggest fear is that I give you two teams in the same conference. So I'm going
help you out.
I'm gonna go easy.
Give me.
I'm gonna go easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Wild and the Penguins because I know they're in opposite conferences.
Well, Penguins aren't a bad choice.
No, they're not a bad.
They've
choice.
got that one Canadian dude, Sidney Crosby.
They got more than
Yeah,
one Canadian too.
They got a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They do have a couple, believe it or
Oh,
not.
of course.
Jack, I think you can give me a little more insight
Yeah,
on your
absolutely.
hockey thoughts.
You know, I don't think the Penguins is a bad choice. If I was a betting man, I'd choose the Penguins. But I'm gonna go on a limb here. They're hot. They're ready. I'm a big Tyler Johnson fan, so I'm gonna go with the Lightning. When it comes to the West, you know what I do like about the West, and this is what I'll give the most credit to the Predators. They're a big physical team. They're a team that'll go out. Your team has like when they play the Wild, they just crush the Wild. They slap them in the boards. They push them down. It looks like men with some boys out there. And that's why I think Winnipeg's also having such a successful season is they're another team that goes out and just kind of hits you in the mouth. But I'm going to go away from the Predators. I'm going to go away from the Jets. I'm going to go the Pacific. I'm going to say the Kings. The only reason why I'm saying the Kings is I'm a big fan of just they have players on their team, Doughty. They have Kopitar. And I get Dustin Brown's not really that good. And I'm not going to say Dustin Brown's an elite player. But what I like the most about Dustin Brown, what I applaud him the most about, is his leadership. He's still a leader in the locker room. I don't think many players can go from a Stanley Cup MVP to a third, fourth line player and also still lead a locker room. And I think that's really what it comes down to, especially when we talk about playoffs, is playoff experience. And that's why I really enjoy the Kings. I think it will come down to the Kings and the Predators in there, but just to be a little bit different, I'm going to go with the Kings.
All right. I like that.
Preaching to the choir.
And we're going to end the show on that take. And I like that take. And as
AJ.
we did. We're going to wrap it up here in a second. But yeah, Will?
Thomas, don't worry, everyone. Everyone that heard the pre-recorded show over break, Thomas Breach will be fulfilling his bet duties.
Yes,
we
he will.
we need
Next
to. Yep,
week,
we
he
need
said.
to.
What are the bet duties?
Oh,
I don't know
AJ?
about
Tune in next week.
We'll
okay.
Yeah, we'll
I'll be listening next week.
We're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger. A
Good.
little wager
Okay.
between Mr. Hire and Mr. Breach, and Mr. Breach is gonna pay up.
All right,
that's
that's all I
all.
like to
That's all
hear.
we gotta say. But make sure to stay tuned because Brooks is gonna be bringing you the afternoon progressive rock show coming up next, and then later tonight the sports department will be also broadcasting some Husky hockey right on the airwaves of 88.1 KVSC tonight. 7:15 pregame with puck drop at 7:37. Western Michigan coming to town to take on the number 2 ranked Huskies. All that and more coming up later today on KVSC. Thank you for tuning in to Sidelines on KVSC FM and HD St. Cloud and KMOJ HD3 Minneapolis St. Paul.